Welcome back to Man Down Sports, Man Down Podcast. Uh Back in here again, man. As you can see from the thumbnail, it seems like the whole sports world is just up in arms about this Giannis thing and what Gilbert Arenas had to say about him. And there's a lot of people on either end of the spectrum. You got people like Stephen A. Smith that agree with Gilbert Arenas. Of course, I myself agreed with Gilbert Arenas, not all the way, and I have a video on that. I'll put the link in the description for that if you want to see what my thoughts was about that. But here it is, Richard Jefferson, who was a good friend of Gilbert Arenas and old college teammate of Gilbert Arenas, and so they were very familiar with each other. He disagreed, and it seems like a lot of people are coming to the aid of Giannis, or like coming to his defense, like he needs that type of help. Even in my comment section from the video I did when I supported what Gilbert Arenas said, at least half of what he said, a lot of people in the comments is like, no, man, Giannis is the best player in the league, man, bar none. And the only thing that they can point to is results. And I get it, results play a major factor, but you got to understand that this conversation is it can be broken down in two ways. And I think some people are thinking about it in one way, and other people are thinking about it in another way. And I'm explaining to you what I mean by that. Some people are only talking about basketball. What I can see, if I go to the court right now, and it's 10 guys on the court playing 5-on-5, I'm going to watch that game, and it's going to be kind of obvious who the best guy on the floor is, right? It's obvious. I'm sitting here watching them, right? No one has given me a sheet of paper showing me what they average for their ball club. It's just watching guys play and saying, oh, that's the best guy right there. That's the guy who's put in the most work. That's the guy that's more blessed, because a lot of times guys, are better than other guys just by being blessed with some super talent, like, for whatever reason, maybe they're an elite athlete who practice enough to add enough skill to make that work for them. Like Giannis, he's an elite athlete that worked hard on his body, and he's developed enough skill to make it work. Then you have guys who like Kobe, who was also an elite athlete, but he didn't get enough skill to make it work. He actually got, if you want to grade him on a scale of his peers, he was in the 99th percentile of skill. That's totally different. Elite athlete, 99th percentile of skill, that's different. Elite athlete with in the 50 percentile or below in skill, that's different, right? So I think when people are talking about people being better than Giannis, like KD or Kawhi or LeBron, and maybe even Steph to a certain extent, that's only 3 or 4 guys, right, that people are saying are better than him. They're giving Giannis credit for being top 5, right? They're giving him credit for being top 5. And I even give him credit for being top 3, because at this stage of LeBron's career, with him being past his prime, even though LeBron's skill set that he's developed is still far beyond where Giannis is at right now, I think his physicality and the fact that he's past his prime gives Giannis a edge, and it also the fact that LeBron doesn't play defense anymore. I think that gives LeBron the edge. So the only person I will put over Giannis is probably KD and Steph, not Kawhi at this moment, because the injuries keep popping up for his knees, and he need those knees to be elite, and not just be elite sometimes, but to be elite for 82 games. I don't know if Kawhi has it left in him anymore. So at the very least, for me, Giannis is number 3. So I mean, between him and Steph, I mean, maybe Giannis is 2. I don't know, but he's never going to be over KD for me. It's just not gonna happen until KD is past his prime and starts declining like LeBron James. But anyway, I came in here because you see the thumbnail, you see RJ and Gilbert on there, and I'm gonna play the clip of Richard Jefferson on his podcast called Road Tripping with Shannon Fry, and I forget the young lady's name that's on the podcast with him, but they was having a conversation about Gilbert Arenas, and I'll play with you what Richard Jefferson had to say. Very interesting. And then I'll come back and I give you my commentary and thoughts on it. And we're in the video, and then we can continue this conversation in the comment section. But before I play this clip, make sure that you're subscribed. The people that are watching right now, make sure you hit the like button, right? And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can, catch all the lives as soon as I go live, so y'all can interact as well. So I'll play what they said, and then I'll come back with my commentary.
Okay. So Gil on his podcast said Giannis doesn't yet fully understand the game of basketball, and later doubled down on his Instagram by asking, has he added any skills to his game? And if you do read Gil's post, he goes through and asks in terms of skills, etc.
He's just not that.
How do you feel about it?
Well, let me say that. Yeah, I don't like Gilbert. Gilbert it's a more intelligent question than I think people are saying. And I think but I think if you break down Giannis's game and the growth of experience and one thing about basketball IQ, which we've seen him improve on year after year and become a better playmaker, and his teammates around him have to complement the areas in which he lacks. That's why Chris Middleton raising his game. That's why Drew Holiday getting brought in, and Brook Lopez. These are guys that complement, Giannis. So his game then had to improve because you had people around him that closed off his deficiencies. His game had to improve based off his decision making and his IQ and his understanding. And I think that that's a supreme level that I think you underestimate how much he's improved. So Gilbert's being a little dick, and he might break it down. Is his 3-point shot going to be better? It's like, bro, okay, we get it, but let's talk about wins. Let's talk about impact on games. Let's talk about intensity, defense, offense. There's not a better he is the best two-way player on the planet, and it ain't even close. Right? Say what you want about Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid, over the last few years, it's a great player. Giannis has been more available. Giannis has the same type of impact on the offensive, defensive end. Embiid is right there, but it's Giannis.
I think in today's skill game, right? We look at some of the most skilled players in the NBA. Most of them are not winning championships, right? Most of them are not MVPs. Most of them can't do it on both sides. The greatest gift is having self-introspection. Now, Giannis has supposedly, I don't see everyone else's workouts. Giannis supposedly has one of the craziest work ethics in the league. Let's just be real. He may not be this elite skill guy, right? Shaq wasn't an elite skill guy. Shaq had his 2 or 3 moves. He absolutely dominated and went down in history, and is still in history, one of the most physically dominating human beings ever.
Yeah.
So very interesting points they made, man. I'm gonna try to address 3 or 4 points I heard, kind of backtracking. So from how I heard it. So what Channing Frye just said is he compared, and I keep hearing and seeing this comparison all in the comment section on the last video I did, where it's very interesting when you come in to support and kind of defend Giannis on not being the best player in the league and saying Kevin Durant is. I noticed that every time you try to get into the conversation on, okay, what is it about Giannis that makes him the best? And only thing they can talk about is stuff like availability, workout, wins, results, which is cool. But we're just talking about basketball. Forget about the wins and results and all of that stuff, because we know all that is circumstantial, right? We know if your team is trash, you're not going to win, right? So if we just strip it down and say, okay, let's say Kevin Durant and Giannis both had a team that was 82-0 and they both averaged 30 points a game. So now we got everything evened out. We can't use stats anymore. Who's the better player, right? You can't tell me it's Giannis. You just can't tell me that a guy who the game plan for him is, let's back off of him 4 feet and let him shoot wide open jump shots is better than Kevin Durant, who you have to smother like gravy on chicken in order to have a chance from him not getting a bucket, right? But anyway, let me touch on some of the points. He said Shaq was physically dominant, and I keep seeing them compare him to Shaq, where Shaq played strictly in the paint and on the block. That's the only way he was effective. Giannis is a perimeter player. He plays the wing. So he's going to get graded on a wings scale. And the wings we have are people like Kevin Durant, LeBron James. Those are wing players. Giannis is a wing player. I don't care if he's 7 foot. He handles the ball. He plays point forward. He's a wing player. I'm grading him on a wing scale. We don't take Rajon Rondo and say, hey, man, he can't shoot. And then we say, well, we can't say Steph is better than him just because Steph can shoot, because Shaq couldn't shoot. And look, and you know, we can't compare Rondo to Shaq, and we can't compare Giannis to Shaq. Shaq is a down low post player. Giannis is a wing player, right? Comparing Giannis to Shaq is like comparing Rondo to Shaq. You grade Rondo just like you grade point guards. And as great as Rondo was, and as much as I like Rondo, if you give me a guard like Chris Paul who can actually shoot it a little bit better, well, Rondo's better at shooting now than he was when he was in Boston. But when he was in Boston, the game plan was just to back off of him 6 feet. As much as I like Rondo, guards like Steph Curry and Chris Paul, even Deron Williams, you couldn't do that to them. You just couldn't back off of them 6 feet and say, all right, let him shoot. You just couldn't, right? So it'd be hard for me to justify Rondo ever being better than a guard like Curry or CP3, right? So I would have them ahead of Rondo, and Rondo was my favorite point guard. So, you know, it's the kind of same thing for Westbrook, man. You just can't shoot it, man, right? So I can't put you above those guys. I couldn't even put Westbrook above Tony Parker, right? So anyway, back to Giannis. So I'm not grading him on a 7 foot Shaq scale. So let's stop bringing Shaq into this conversation. He's a wing player, and he doesn't have the wing skills. And even if he was a post player, he's lacking post skills as well, right? He's got about as much as post game as Mutombo did, right? So what it really is going on with Giannis is that we like him so much because he stands for what we want superstars to stand for. He's a guy with the right attitude. He's selfless. He's a team player. He keeps his mouth shut. He plays hard. He didn't leave his team to go join a super team like LeBron and Kevin Durant did. He don't cause fuss in the media. He don't request trades. He don't do all this stuff. This is what we like. We in a league now where they're desperate to get back control of the league from players like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Kyrie. They feel like they're backed in the corner where we don't have a choice because our superstars are kind of running the league, and they, you know, it's a player empower movement, and we don't want the players to have that empowering no more. And Giannis represents what they're trying to get back to. They have to reward Giannis. They have to reward. They've been making rules in the CBA to keep. They're trying to figure out how to keep players in small market ball clubs and giving them incentives. If you get drafted by a team and you re-sign with them, you can make more money with a supermax with that team than you can if you leave. So they're giving incentives for superstars to stay with their small markets, but time and time again, they're not doing it. Anthony Davis left for LA. He left New Orleans for LA. LeBron left Cleveland for Miami, then left Cleveland again for LA. Kevin Durant left OKC for Golden State. They're leaving these small markets, going to these big markets, and they're trying to stop that. And they need a poster child for it, and Giannis is it. So we understand the push to make Giannis a face and the push to make guys like Kevin Durant and LeBron not the face, because we're going to reward what we actually want in this league. And everyone is falling for it and going, you know, with the momentum. Oh, he's the best in the world. He's not. That's a low bar, right? If Giannis is the best in the world only because he won a championship and won an MVP, it can be a different best in the world every year. After Steph won this championship, people were saying he was the best in the world, right? So the way they're making the standard and setting this bar low, the best player in the world can change every single year. It's not going to be Giannis every year. It's going to be somebody else next year. Because if Giannis get put out in the first or second round, like he did this year, right, the energy is going to die out on who the best in the world is. It's going to change every year, right? Because the bar is set so low, and they're trying to push the old guys out of it, especially when there's KD and LeBron. So anyway, so the Shaq comparison, that's dead. The Shaq comparison is dead. I just explained to you why I think the media is pushing, why the NBA is pushing for Giannis to be their guy and their poster, because he represents so much of what they want. And Channing Frye said another comment about him being physically dominant, which is true. He is physically dominant. But one thing they're not talking about is the basketball stuff. Yeah, it's good to be physically dominant. That's track and field attributes. But the basketball stuff, like you getting in the gym, you can't get in the gym and practice being physically dominant. You just lift weights and you're strong. That's great, right? But what you getting in the gym to do, right? What the game that we see KD with comes from years and years and years of being a gym rat. So the stuff that Giannis is doing now to develop a jump shot, Kevin Durant was doing it when he was in 7th grade. Shot mechanics is already complete. He don't have to fix anything. He's a 50, 40, 90 guy. That means he shoots 90 or above from the free throw line, 40% from the 3-point line, and 50 or above from the field. That's elite company. There's only like 5 or 6 guys ever done that in the history of the league. Mark Price, Steve Nash, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, a couple of other guys I can't remember. Right? That's it's a small company with that, right? That comes with practice. That's a lot of gym work, right? That's more than being a track and field guy who can put the ball in the hole, right? Giannis has no business being the point forward for anybody's squad. All right, so let me make this video short because I've been making them long, right? So Richard Jefferson also said he was the best two-way to play in the league. That's debatable, right? I love Giannis on defense. He's great. He's won Defensive Player of the Year. He's won 2 MVPs. The dude is great. I love Giannis, but we gotta stop acting like Kawhi haven't been one of the best defenders in the league as well. And if let's say it's a toss-up or it cancels each other out. Let's say they both great defenders on that side of the ball. They're both good defenders, right? And then you go to the offense, and Kawhi is definitely more skilled, more developed, more complete as an offensive player. Kawhi Leonard can get off the ball and not have the ball and have someone like PG3 cook and still be effective because he can spread the floor and be a threat as a catch and shoot guy in the corner on the side. Or PG13 can ball handle and pause, and Kawhi Leonard can come off screens and catch and shoot. PG13 can handle the rock, and Kawhi Leonard can post up and be very, and everything I'm talking about, catch and shoot, shooting off the screen, scoring in the post, slashing, all these things are B or above. That's above average. He's not averaging none of those things. He's B or above. And all of those things on offense. Or he can get the ball and say, move out of the way. Let me get you a bucket by even getting to the hole, or pulling up from 3, or pulling up from the mid-range. Then he gets to the free throw line. He's knocking that down above 80%. Right? So if Giannis is the best two-way player in the league, how is that possible when Kawhi is just as good on defense, but twice as better on offense? And I'm not talking about what he averages, because what Giannis averages on the Bucks is based on he has the ball majority of the time. I don't take people's averages in consideration when their offense is ran in such a way where it's impossible for them not to average that. And that goes for Westbrook when he was in OKC, Harden when he was in Houston, Luka in Dallas, and Giannis in Milwaukee. They have no choice but to average close to 30, because the offense is built to where they're going to dictate every shot that everyone else get, and then they got the green light to take any shot they want. And all the players that's on the floor with them is their center, like everything is orbiting around them, right? It's not like we're in a nice synergy and we have a nice flow of the game where we have an offense. It's not like Golden State's offense or the Bulls triangle offense or Greg Popovich motion offense, where it's like a team thing. What it really is one player is out there to get his, and everyone else is just they exist to make sure he get his, right? Which is leading me to what Richard Jefferson said when he thought he was supporting Giannis, but he actually did more damage to his case with how he described it. I'm gonna play it again and then I'm gonna stop it. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I'm gonna play the part where Richard Jefferson tried to help Giannis, but he actually hurt him with what he said.
Okay. So Gil on his podcast said Giannis doesn't yet fully understand the game of basketball, and later doubled down on his Instagram by asking, has he added any skills to his game? And if you do read Gil's post, he goes through and asks in terms of skills, etc.
He's just not that.
How do you feel about it?
Well, let me say this. Yeah, I don't like Gilbert. It's a more intelligent question than I think people are saying it. I think but I think if you break down Giannis's game and the growth of experience and one thing about basketball IQ, which we've seen him improve on year after year and become a better playmaker, and his teammates around him have to complement the areas in which he lacks.
He said the teammates around him have to complement the areas in which he lacks. And I'm gonna tell you why that's problematic for your best player and superstar. If we mostly agree that Michael Jordan is a complete basketball player on both sides of the floor, and by complete I mean on offense, there's as far as getting a bucket, there's no way that MJ had a hole in his game in any way of getting a bucket, whether it was on the ball, off the ball, with the ball, off a screen, in the post, slashing, like all of these things. He was above average in all of that, if not elite in all of it. The only thing he wasn't elite at is shooting threes, but he was still above. He was average or above average in shooting threes. His percentage wasn't showing that. But when you look at his shooting form, his shooting mechanics, and how little he shot the three, which affects his percentage, he was great at almost everything, right? No holes in his offensive game. He was complete on defensive end as well. And he's most of our we would agree he's the GOAT, the greatest of all time. So if we all agree to that, we'll use Michael Jordan as a standard. Michael Jordan used to play the style of offense that I despise, that I just talked about with Harden, Westbrook, Luka, Giannis, all those guys who play the point forward, which is a disaster for your best player to also be your primary ball handler and dictate everyone's shots, right? I mean, it's not smart for me to have my best player have the green light. He's my best scorer, but I'm also going to make him my decision maker and dictate when everyone else gets a shot. Because what that's doing is, most times when you have a point guard, their whole life they've been geared toward helping teammates get shots, right? So you have a point guard. My whole life, I've been a Chris Paul or a Rondo or whoever else, Mark Price, Steve Nash, Penny Hardaway. I'm one of those types. I'm a point guard. My whole life, I've been Magic Johnson. I've been getting shots for people. And then he shows up to a pro team and he says, hey, look, well, I know you're a point guard, but we go give my best player the ball, who also is going to shoot it 30 times a game. And you're just going to play off the ball, and you just got to learn how to sit in the corner and shoot threes off his pass. That's what they're doing. They got that because it worked for LeBron, but it doesn't work for nobody else. It worked for LeBron, but it doesn't really work for nobody else. And the only way it worked for LeBron is by him joining the super team, because it couldn't work in Cleveland. Like, that formula is just not good, right? So Michael Jordan played that style before Phil Jackson showed up. And Michael Jordan's stats was crazy. If he would have kept playing like that, he would have crushed the record books, right? He would have crushed it. Phil Jackson said, man, that's the worst way you want to play, right? I'm about to take the ball out of your hands, and we playing this triangle offense. And lo and behold, when they took the ball out of Michael Jordan's hands and put him off the ball, it unlocked Scottie Pippen's potential. We got to see, oh my goodness, this dude is a playmaker. He's a point forward, right? And then when his offense blossomed, guess what? We found out this dude was a first, second team all defense type player. Who knew what would happen when you make somebody happy on the offensive end, what else they can unlock? So Michael Jordan is off the ball. Now we find his Robin to his Batman. You could never find that from Scottie Pippen if you had him in the corner waiting on a pass for Michael Jordan so he can be a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. That's what happens in offenses like what Giannis is in. You got Drew Holiday, who's a pure point guard, who can shoot it, score, post up, drive to the basket. He can do all those things as the point guard. However, his mentality and mindset is to be a pure point guard. So he wants to get people involved, but guess what? He can't, because playing with Giannis, he has to be a catch and shoot guy half of the game, if not more than half of the game. He has to be a catch and shoot guy. And here it is with Chris Middleton, who actually has on-ball skills where he can go get his own basket. Guess what? He's turned into Giannis. He's a catch and shoot guy on the other side. And then when Giannis just can't make a play on the fly, Middleton, all right, make a play for us, because Giannis can't do it all of a sudden. Oh, hit this game with him because Giannis can't pull up from nowhere. We got to get the ball to Middleton to close the game. Right, this is your best player. You got to go to his second best player to close the game. Imagine Michael Jordan if he couldn't shoot, and all those game winners he hit, they had to give it to Pippen. And then we call him the GOAT and the best player. Imagine that. Imagine having those deficiencies in your game that Richard Jefferson just admitted that Giannis has. He said the players on his team around him have to be good at what Giannis is not good at. We have to fill the holes that he has in his game with players who have that as a strength. So everyone on Giannis shooting is so bad, everyone else on the floor has to be a shooter, including his point guard and his power forward and his center and his Robin. Right? So even Brook Lopez, who is a center with moves almost as good as Tim Duncan in the post. Like, Brook Lopez was a multiple time All-Star before the injuries got to him. Down low, he was really good as a post man. When the last time you seen him post up? This man is standing at the 3-point line shooting threes too. So Giannis's shooting is so bad. When you put him on a team and build a team around it, you can't even sign a guy who ain't ready to sit in the corner and knock down a three. And that's not just by skill set. You have to have that mentality that, hey, look, I'm done trying to get points. I will sit out here and let Giannis just run all the way up and down the floor. And if my man double, we just all go sit here and be ready to shoot threes. That's not how your best player is supposed to put a situation on your GM. It's good that a GM can look at that and see, hey man, we got to fill all these holes that Giannis got with other players. But wouldn't you like to have a player like Michael Jordan or Kobe, who you didn't have to do that to? And it's supposed to be the opposite. You're not supposed to have to get players to fill your best players' deficiencies in. Your best player is supposed to cover all that for the role players, like Hakeem Olajuwon. He didn't have a squad built around what he couldn't do. His starting power forward for his championships was Otis Thorpe. He was only there to rebound. He wasn't there to help Olajuwon with the scoring punch down low. Olajuwon had that all by himself. Olajuwon was a lockdown defender too. He didn't need Thorpe to help him defend. These superstars now, all right, I just named some. LeBron, he stopped playing defense after he left Miami. But his teammates have to be great defenders, and it's the same thing with Giannis. You always hear all the time, LeBron needs shooters. LeBron needs shooters. That's because for so long, LeBron couldn't shoot. So the same thing, we had to build a team of shooters around LeBron and defenders. With Luka, you got to build a team of shooters because he wants the ball in his hand all the time, and just put the shooters around the three-point line. But guess what? They got to be defenders too, because Luka's not going to defend. Steph Curry, everybody on his team got to be great defenders. That's your superstar is not supposed to have holes that you got to fill with his role players, right? That's why Michael Jordan is the GOAT and the standard. Nobody was on that team to fill in Jordan's discrepancies and deficiencies. Point out a discrepancy in your game, you can't be compared to Michael Jordan. Point blank, period. The prerequisite to get in the Jordan convo is to have a complete game on offense and defense. So far, well, that's to start the conversation. Then we start looking at your resume. We don't even get to your resume if you don't show up as a complete player on both ends of the floor. So far, only Kobe is there after Michael Jordan. We're not talking about people before Mike. After Mike, the only person I can put in that category that is a complete player on offense and defense is Kobe Bean Bryant. So he gets in the GOAT conversation. No one else is there. Right? No one else is there. LeBron is close. KD is kind of close. But he didn't play defense his whole. He got the opposite problem than LeBron. LeBron came in the league playing defense and then he stopped. Kevin Durant didn't play defense at all in OKC. He didn't start playing defense till he got to Golden State, and he's playing really good defense. But guess what? His reputation is so damaged from OKC that no one notices that Kevin Durant actually plays great defense. Really good, even with his rim protection and when he switches on screens and guards these guards on the perimeter. Really good defense. Pay attention to it. But his reputation is jacked because he didn't play defense his first 5, 6, 7 years in the league. So they got the opposite. LeBron played it at the beginning and stopped. Kevin Durant just started playing it in Golden State, right? But they both like Kevin Durant is complete on offense. And he got the defense now, but he hasn't played it for his whole career. Michael Jordan played defense his whole career, even in with the Wizards. So my point is this: Richard Jefferson tried to come to his protection and he tried to come to his aid, but he made it worse. You can't give nobody a compliment and come and support them and then say, "Look, man, his teammates got to fill in his deficiencies." Bro, that ain't how that's supposed to work for superstars. You don't fill in superstars' deficiencies. So I'm going to double down on what I was saying and what Gilbert was saying. Until Giannis get his skill level up, he can't be better than someone who's complete on offense. I know Giannis defensively is better than Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant defensively is better than Giannis's offense. Giannis's offense got more holes in it than Kevin Durant's defense. Kevin Durant's defense has more ability than Giannis's offense. Point blank period, and it's not even close on offense. Kevin Durant's offense just blows Giannis' offense out, right? But if you give a guy the ball and give him 4 shooters and tell those 4 shooters to stand at the 3-point line, open the lane wide open, and say, "Man, you can go get any shot you want all day long. Be a point forward and just go down, run full speed at the rim, spin or Euro step, just bully your way, just bust in there." I mean, come on, man. It's like a bull in the china cabinet. Here it is, Kevin Durant scoring in the phone booth and still getting 30. This is the thing, and then I'm gonna end it. It's like if we driving a vehicle and we both going to the same destination, but we take different routes. Giannis takes a straight route to get where he's going, and Kevin Durant takes a route that takes him over mountainous land, down some valleys, got to go across the water and do all of these things. And then we both get there at the same exact time. Which one was more impressive? The one who had the easier path to get to this destination, or the one with the harder path? Right? So when I hear people say, well, if Giannis is so bad on offense, how come he averages the same thing that Kevin Durant averages points? Does that make them the same level of score? Hell no. Because Giannis gets his points in one way, running full speed at the rim. I don't care what Giannis is doing. When he gets his points, 9 times out of 10, he's running full speed at the rim. Either he gets a rebound and he takes off running full speed at the rim, or he gets the ball at the top of the key, spread the floor, get a screen, and take off running full speed, or he get it in the post, turn and face the post, and take off running full speed at the rim. That's all his points. He don't come off no screen and catch and shoot. He don't get it in the post and, up and under, none of that, right? He ain't not even efficient at the free throw line enough. Like Kevin Durant gets his points in every way. And oh, by the way, remember, the defense is stepping 4 feet off of him to give him the jump shot. So even all his 3-point shots are uncontested, wide open. Meanwhile, you got people dedicated to stopping Kevin Durant from even getting a clean look at the ball. And he still gets 30. One took the harder path to get his 30. The other one took a straight shot to get his 30 with little resistance. It's a no-brainer, people. It's a no-brainer, man. We got to stop this. Our Richard Jefferson, man, you tried to help him, but you can't come on here and say his teammates got to have the skill set that he lacks to fill in his deficiencies, and then think that I'm going to go out and say, yeah, that's the best player I've ever seen. I mean, come on, man. Like, if no one ever seen NBA players play, and you go to another country and say, look, man, we got a game over there in the States that everybody like. It's called basketball. It's the NBA. The best player I ever seen in my life is Giannis. You're not going to say that. You're going to say, hey, man, if I want you to see somebody play the best player I've ever seen in my life, or this still playing, it's probably going to be Kevin Durant or Curry or Kyrie, maybe even LeBron. But you're not going to take the person with all those holes in his game offensively, people backing off him, letting him shoot threes, and then say, that's the best we got right there. He can train your son how not to shoot. You get what I'm saying? Like, you had a choice of any NBA player right now who I want to train my son in shooting or train my son in any other skill. You thinking about, man, I might grab Curry, I might grab Kyrie, I might grab KD. Heck, I might even grab Paul George before I even touch Giannis. Come on, man. But I'm already too long. I keep coming on here to do 15 minutes and I keep talking past 30 minutes. I don't know why I keep doing that, but if y'all watching, I keep doing it. But ain't nobody hit the like button yet. Hit that like button before I end this video. Hit the like button. If you ain't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, man. And man, let's finish this conversation in the comments, man. Is Giannis the best? Did Richard Jefferson represent him well with that explanation of he got so many deficiencies that we had to put teammates around him to fill those deficiencies? Is that giving us the best explanation that we could take to say, yeah, he's the best in the league? Or is this some type of other agenda? Let me know what's up. Peace.